Welcome to this video tour of the Willow Creek Railroad. The railroad, officially known as the Willow Creek subdivision of the Union Pacific Railroad, is a 400 square foot HO scale freelanced model railroad set in the early 1950s towards the end of the transition between steam locomotives and diesel engines. The layout is designed for point-to-point operations between the river port town of Bucky's Crossing and the industrial city of Waverly, a running distance of a little over 200 actual feet. The layout is operated using MRC's wireless digital command control system, and all engines are equipped with sound decoders. Planning for the model railroad began in late 2007, and construction began in 2009. As of the filming of this video, the layout is 6 years old. The video clips that you've been watching provide an overview of the layout. Now let's take a look at operations on the Willow Creek Railroad. Work on the railroad begins early each morning in Bucky's Crossing, a small town located on the Naugatuck River. A vintage NW2 diesel switcher offloads freight cars from the railroad car ferry that arrived earlier this morning, as a freight train arrives in the background, led by an SD7 diesel. The offloaded cars will be stored in the local car ferry yard until later this morning, when they will leave for the classification yard in Waverly. Meanwhile, a Baldwin diesel arrives with a train of freight cars due out on the next car ferry. The Baldwin will leave the cars on the station track for the local switcher to handle, and will couple onto the load of empty coal hoppers destined for the Willow Creek Mining Company. Once the mine train has departed, the NW2 switcher moves the cars into the ferry yard. When the time comes, the diesel switcher loads the freight cars onto the outbound ferry. In addition to the ferry yard, Bucky's Crossing is home to several industries, including an oil and fuel distributor, a wholesale produce company, and the Blue Star Freight Company. If we follow the freight train led by the SD7 diesel, we'll get a good view of much of the layout. The train leaves Bucky's Crossing through the East Portal Tunnel. The train heads up the 2% grade overlooking the South Forks River, paralleling Willow Creek. And eventually passes by the small mining community of Highland. The train passes over the Highland Loop Trestle, and then a second bridge overlooking Highland Falls and a small hobo camp. The train winds around the mountains until it comes to Sarlot Viaduct, a double-track masonry bridge crossing the South Forks River. The train passes a small passenger station at Upper Meadows and continues its climb towards Lookout Pass. The train finally arrives at Lookout Pass, the highest point on the Willow Creek Railroad. It loops around the town of Summit Springs, passes over the high bridge steel trestle, and through a snow shed, before starting its descent into Waverly. The Willow Creek Railroad has a single-track mainline, with multiple passing sidings that allow trains to pass each other. The mine train that we saw earlier is sitting on a passing siding along Willow Creek, waiting for our freight train to pass. The single-track mainline is protected by block signals, activated by optical sensors. Once our freight train clears the mainline, the signal turns from red to green, indicating to the mine train that it's now safe to continue on its journey. Local freight trains provide a large variety of operations on the railroad. The Willow Creek Railroad is designed to keep 4 or 5 operators busy concurrently. In addition to switching jobs at Bucky's Crossing, operators must support a brewing and malting company, a bottling company, and a hotel and resort at Summit Springs. Upper Meadows is home to the family-owned Richter Pickle Company, complete with a large salting station. And the Willow Creek Mine keeps operators busy exchanging loaded and empty coal hoppers. Waverly is a large industrial city and major transportation hub. Our freight train arrives on one of the arrival tracks in Waverly Yard. The yard supports 2 arrival tracks and 2 departure tracks to handle the large volume of inbound and outbound trains. Service facilities at the yard support both steam and diesel engines. Here a GP9 diesel takes a spin on the turntable and will take on fuel and sand before departing Waverly with a local freight train. One of only 3 remaining steam engines on the subdivision, a 482 Mountain configuration, leaves the Waverly passenger station with the evening's River City Limited, bound for Bucky's Crossing. A rail diesel bus also leaves the station with passengers destined for Summit Springs and Upper Meadows. Waverly has a 4-track classification yard where freight cars are sorted for travel throughout the subdivision. Waverly Yard is busy day and night, supporting through freight and local freight trains and a variety of passenger trains. This completes our video tour of the Willow Creek Railroad. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you for visiting.